So binomial is a algebraic expression with two terms. Alright, so for example, we've got something like, what am I? So for example, like 2x plus 1. Look at that, I'm not practicing this. Or 3x to the power of 4 minus 5x. Or 7y to the power of 5 plus 3ac cubed. It could be any two terms. Okay, two algebraic terms. It doesn't really matter what terms you have. It's just saying two separate terms is called a binomial. Now, a binomial product, as the name suggests, is when you have two binomials multiplied together. The product of two binomials is a binomial product. I mean, you can have more than two binomials. You can have three binomials, or four binomials, however many you want. If you have them multiplied together, then it's called a binomial product. Right? And so, for example, 5x plus 3, 4x minus 2n. Bracket, bracket. That's a binomial product. You have two binomials and then multiplied together. Alright, it's basically a form of expanding when we find a binomial product. We're expanding it out. We're getting rid of the brackets and then simplifying the expression. Again, one way that we're going to look at is by using these area diagrams to visualize binomial products. Okay, so you can use areas to sort of symbolize what you're actually doing in multiplication and then find these binomial products. Okay, you can go ahead and do it. So once you finish writing, we're going to do these two examples and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay? You finish writing yet?
He's gone. Get it.
Forget Andy. Thank you. Now the way these work is this. Now, listening up, please.
What the hell?
Right. This is the way that we do it. Now, if I have a look here at this rectangle, it's divided into four sections. And so I could say that, well, this section here, from this point up to this point, I'm going to call M. Right? That's M. Now, from this point here up to this point, I'm going to say that the distance is 1. So now tell me, what is the total distance from here to here? What's the distance across here? M plus 1. M plus 1 is that distance. Now if I do a similar thing here, if I call this one G, then I call this distance 4. What is the total distance along this edge? Yeah, G plus 4. Okay? Now I know that this is G, this is 4, this is M, and this is 1. I can now do something and work out each of the four areas individually. So what is the area of this quarter here? GM. Okay. What's the area of this quarter? It must be 4 times M, so it's 4M. What's the area of this quarter? 4, because it's 4 times 1. What's the area of this quarter? G, because it's G, which is this one, times 1. Okay? So what we end up with is that M plus 1 bracket times G plus 4 is equal to, if I just go around, I could say it's GM plus G plus 4M plus 4. Can I simplify this anymore? No. So in this case, that's it. I can't simplify it anymore. So that's what I've done. I've expanded it. It's GM plus G plus 4M plus 4. Okay? Any questions? I guess so. want to do that. Okay, it has 4 terms. Yes, triangle. Yeah. Okay, so that's 4 terms. That's the way we think of it in terms of this. Now, the idea of this exercise is obviously that we're not going to be drawing rectangles and expanding these things using these sort of images all the time. So the idea is, as you do this, you have to try to see how you're expanding. What's the method of doing this without having to draw out these things all the time? So that's the first one. Now, if you go back down, go down here. Right. Now, if you have a look at the second rectangle, actually, just forget, I'm going to come down there. It's all about it. All right, here we go. Now, what we're going to do is do the same thing for this one. So I'm going to use the second one first. If I call this distance x, okay, from here to here, right, what's this distance? I'm going to call this one 5. Okay, so what's the total distance here? X plus 5, or 5 plus x, whichever you like. Let's say x plus 5. Now, when we're doing minuses, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to call this total distance. I'm going to call this total distance x. Oh, sorry. That's true. Let me change it. Let me change the letter. It is. What just happened? Okay, here we go, here we go. Okay, so let's change this. I'm just going to call this. I'm going to call this one y instead, alright? So let's call this okay, we're going to call this total distance y. If I call this distance y, so this one's x, this one's y. Alright guys, so if we can have your attention please. Okay, anyway, this is y. If I say this distance here is 1, then what's this distance here? If this total distance is y, there we go. If this total distance is y, and this distance is 1, what's this distance? Y minus 1. If this is 1, this is y. This distance must be this total distance, which is y, take away 1. So we've got y minus 1 here. Understanding this? So what we want to do is find y minus 1 times x plus 5. Y minus 1 times 5 y minus 1 times 5. What is it? Yeah, 5. I'll just leave it in the brackets. And then this one is x, y minus 1. So this is going to equal to x, y minus 1 plus 5y minus 1, which is equal to xy minus x plus 5y minus 5. Can I simplify this expression anymore?
No.
Cannot. Alright? So in the